Welcome back, friends. iRelät here with a Reddit relationship story from a guy whose wife had cancer, and this thing is wild. But the update was posted a few days ago, and we're going to cover that here too, so make sure you stick around for that. So he's 54 and she's 51. He says, "My wife and I have been married since 2001 and together since 1999. She's the most intelligent, thoughtful, caring, and loyal person I know, and I've always thought of myself as fortunate to have met her and married her. She's even today aesthetically beautiful, and men have told her this throughout our marriage. She's always shot them down. Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer stage 1 and had a full hysterectomy. I was never concerned about the cancer. It was diagnosed early, dealt with quickly, and she made a full recovery. I took time off work to look after her after the surgery, and all seemed well. There were some to-be-expected emotional instances on her part, and although I'm not an emotional person, we dealt with them together. After her recovery, she insisted that we start living our life to the fullest, and we took a 10-day trip to Europe, followed by a trip to Belize, and we also have another trip to the UK, Spain, and Portugal planned later this year. I'm fine with these things. Building memories and crossing bucket lists and adventures off of our list is fine. I also understand that these are the result of feeling fragile on her part. She also took up yoga, swimming, a healthy cooking class, and I was fully on board with all of it until last week. And what she said during this discussion pretty much blew my mind. She comes home from work one day and tells me that she wants a hall pass, a one-time opportunity for her to sleep with someone else besides me. She said that since her cancer diagnosis, her outlook on life has changed and she doesn't want to be handcuffed from doing things she wants to do. Okay, so since this chick had cancer and she had a brush with the end, now she wants to completely ruin this guy's life? Come on, what is this? He says, she explained that there's this guy at her work that she's always had some attraction to. She's always been into this guy behind your back. He's leaving the company and she'll never see him again, so this is the perfect opportunity for her to sleep with someone else. She said that I could say no, of course, but that she would be mad or disappointed at me for an indeterminate amount of time, and that it would be confirmation of my male toxicity and insecurity. Bro, this is exactly what I said about that in the last video, who was saying that by him not wanting his girl to go out and do exactly what this girl's trying to, that he was being toxic and ruining their relationship instead of saying that she was the one with the problem. I'm absolutely tired of women trying to use this excuse of, oh, men are controlling, they're insecure, or they're toxic in some way because they don't want their wife or girlfriends to go out and spread her legs for any random guy at work or on the street. This is absolute nonsense, and men as a whole need to stop putting up with it. So he continues, I don't consider myself to be toxic, and if not wanting your wife of 20 years to sleep with somebody else is insecure, then I guess I'm insecure. No, my friend, you're not. He says, I told her that I appreciated her talking to me about this, but you appreciated her telling you she wants to bang some guy at work? Get real. But approval via coercion is not approval. Yeah, and I love how the wife tells him, well, I'm not gonna do it if you don't want me to, but if you tell me not to, I'm gonna sit here and bash you and make you feel terrible for it. And side note, there's like a 90% chance she's already doing or has done the exact thing she's inquiring about here. She just wants to be able to do it out in the open so she doesn't have to hide it or feel guilt anymore. He says, I also said that I don't appreciate her language in describing my, as of yet, unknown reaction to this very large issue that could affect the rest of our marriage and life. I got up in the morning and she basically said that she was sorry for putting such a large decision solely on my shoulders and that to help, she was taking the decision away from me. Oh, so she's just gonna do what she wants anyway, like I assumed. She booked a hotel where her coworkers are having a party or a send-off for this guy, and she's gonna spend the night there with him and hope that I would be here when she got back. Are you serious? This woman is a complete piece of garbage. But anyway, he continues, she said that she would answer any questions I have about the night after it happens, but not before. What, so you can't stop her? She'll not tell me who he is or anything about him because she knows me too well and that I'll dwell and obsess over him. Well, yeah, of course. And that would make it too real for me, which is pretty accurate. Her point of view is that the less I know, the better, which contradicts her offer to tell me anything after I know it happened. I think she knows I won't want to know or ask anything, or she simply won't tell me. Part of me thinks at least she's been honest with me, and she has been through a lot since finding out she had cancer, so maybe I should just let it happen. No, you should not. Through sickness and in health. That means her sickness as well. Just because she had cancer doesn't mean she gets to just go out and sleep with whoever she wants, and you need to be okay with it. Get real. He says, I certainly have no concept of what she went through, so I can't dismiss how this affected her mental state or her outlook on life. You definitely can. I don't give a crap. Part of me wants to put my foot down and say this is not going to happen and deal with those consequences when it does. Her BFF called me callous for even suggesting that I wouldn't let it happen. Oh, like I always say, their friends always know and they always encourage it. He says, because I have no idea what she went through, and I find it hard to believe that she's okay with the possibility of throwing away 20 plus years of marriage over some guy that she had no relationship with outside of work, and that I should just call her bluff. Yeah, exactly. It's not believable because this isn't just some random guy. This isn't a hall pass. This is her wanting to come forward with the truth about the fact that she's been doing something with this guy behind your back. I would put so much money on that. I guarantee she's had a relationship with this guy for a while now, and the fact that he's moving away for whatever reason, she's upset that she's essentially having to break up with the guy, so she wants to have one last fling, and she doesn't know how she's exactly going to be able to spend a night with him without you knowing about it, and she cares more about this guy, obviously, than she does you. I hate to say it. Or rather, she cares more about herself than anything. He continues, maybe she thinks similarly that I won't throw away the marriage because of one encounter. I just don't know what to do. I empathize with her, and then an instant later, I'm angry with her. Yeah, well, you have every right to be angry, my friend. Are you serious? And the only reason you have any empathy whatsoever is because of the fact that she's been guilt-tripping you, for one, about her sickness, which that shouldn't even factor into this. And two, the fact that she's trying to claim you're insecure and she's trying to put this guilt on you. This is why you're double-guessing yourself, and you shouldn't be, because you have every right, and you're absolutely right, to not want her to do this. He says, part of me wants to know who this guy is. What does he look like? What has he got that is so enthralling for her? Is he just a safe option? Is he married? If he is married, does his wife know? Would I be a callous a-hole for saying no? No, you wouldn't. What can I do besides walking away? I don't think there's anything else you can do. So then he responded to some people's comments, and there's an update to this story coming up, so let's get into that. So one of the responses he gave down in the comments says, once the dust settled, I realized that I was desperate to hold on to something that no longer existed. Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the truth. I've initiated divorce proceedings. She has regret, not remorse. Of course, those are different things with different meanings. She regrets what's happened because her life is upside down now. Someone in a private message asked if her cancer was back and spread to her brain, which I don't know if it's happened or not, but I doubt it would make any difference to me at this point. I just don't see her the same way anymore. Yeah, that's understandable. I told all her friends' husbands about how they enabled this behavior, and the fallout is interesting. I said that maybe they're covering for one another and that maybe my wife was just the next link in the chain. This got them going through their wives' phones. A couple found inappropriate, naughty messages. Yeah, that's not surprising. Anytime women encourage this, they're the same type of people. All husbands have made their wives cut off my wife and each other. Yeah. Like I say in a majority of these videos, the friends always know and they always encourage it. And like I said a couple videos back, the reason the friends always know and encourage it is because they themselves are terrible people and they do the same stuff. Women like this and her friends just have no respect for men, regardless of the type of man he is. They sit around and complain about how there's no good guys out there anymore. And then even when they do find a guy who's literally perfect in every way, he's a great father, he takes care of the house, takes care of the bills, everything, whatever. He could be the most perfect guy and they will still find an excuse to go behind his back and do this stuff, and all their friends will encourage it, and they don't care how good the guy is. And I'm not saying this is all women who do this, it's just all women who have the mentality of people like the woman and her friends in this story. Although this kind of thing is becoming more and more common, and it doesn't help with these people spreading the idea of toxic masculinity or insecurity if you don't want to let your girl do whatever she wants. All of these ideas are bad for society, they're bad for men and women. But unfortunately, the morons spreading these messages are too stupid to understand that. So then this guy says that her best friend's husband confirmed with him what I said, that yeah, she was having at least an emotional affair with this guy and probably a physical one too. But anyway, that first post was from back in June, and now we have another update that he posted last week. He says, my lawyer wasn't available for a few days, so I was faced with the reality of having to live with my wife in the meantime. I really didn't want to go home and have any discussion, let alone a discussion about our relationship. When I did get home, I was basically ambushed by her friends and my mother-in-law. Instead of taking the remorseful approach, they decided that a full court press was what the situation warranted, and I was basically berated by them. Why is this guy the one getting attacked here when he did absolutely nothing wrong but just be a good husband? I mean, this woman is a complete piece of garbage. And of course, again, they always support it, they always encourage it, they always know it's like, this is just what these types of people do. If it wasn't for the fact that every time you hear one of these stories, it's not just one bad woman, it's literally every person she knows, I wouldn't have such little faith that the percentage of good women who are actually out there is like minimal and shrinking. And this is why at the end of every single video, I say support and be good to good women, because good women do exist. There just aren't enough of them. And I want every person, men and women, to encourage and support good women and encourage more women to be more like these good women, because that's what we need. Not this. This kind of crap being rampant in our society these days is absolutely destroying it, and no one can convince me otherwise. Sure, men have their problems, but men are shamed for their bad behavior while women are encouraged on every level. He says her BFF was definitely the ringleader, but all of them decided to say such things as, she's been through a lot. You don't know what she's been through. You have no idea what it's like to face something like she did. This is a one-time thing. At least she told you. She could have hidden it from you. She'll never see the guy again. And my favorite is, you're an a-hole for what you've been putting her through. Oh my lord, these people are out of their minds. This is the general attitude towards men in society, and it is so ridiculous, the double standards that exist. I mean, could you imagine if some guy wanted to cheat on his wife, or he did cheat on his wife, and then when she came home after the fact and she was all miserable about it, all of his friends ganged up on her and were like, how could you do this to him? Just let him, it's ridiculous. But he continues, I just listened with a dumb smirk on my face, and when they were fully in their fury, I asked if they were all done.
Are you done?
Then I asked my wife if there was anyone in her circle of friends or anyone else that she forgot to tell about this. I quietly informed all of them that I was going to sit down with their husbands and tell them about how they verbally attacked me, shaming me and trying to coerce me into staying with the cheater. After I told them to leave, I said that I had no say in the entire event, and so they have no say in whether I stay or not. My soon-to-be ex sort of apologized. She said she regretted the entire thing. I said there's a difference between regret and remorse. You regret what happened because of the cause and effect. You have regret because your life is never going to be the same, or our relationship will never be the same because you were wholly and willfully unconcerned about me and what I wanted. She asked if I had questions and said she'd answer them now, no matter how disturbing. I said the one question I do have is why. Not necessarily why this guy, why this low-end, unattractive, unfit guy, but why someone else in the first place? Oh, I guess this guy was garbage. She said the cancer scared her to her core. Yeah, scared her to her lower core. She felt like she was rushing towards mortality and stepping out of the tunnel was appealing. Okay. She said that after all this time of being a wife and a mother and worrying about the family, this was something just for her. An escape. The guy was just someone who was interested in her for a long time. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot going on behind the scenes with him. I said if I was gonna risk my marriage, the woman would have been a serious upgrade from you. I saw you and him coming out of the bar that night. I watched you walk away from the bar hand in hand towards the hotel. I said that you looked too familiar with each other and asked if there was something going on before all of this. She said no. I said that all of our years together, your lack of respect for me was astonishing. I finished by saying that I would never be able to look myself in the mirror again if I condoned that level of disrespect and stayed with her. Good. That's what you should have said. And that's how you should have felt. I said I hope we can go our separate ways amicably and that I have an appointment with a lawyer later this week. I again asked her to find some other accommodations and she simply said, I'm not going anywhere. Then she said, we're not getting a divorce. I'll give you all the time you need to recover from this. Yeah, right. Who does this woman think she's married to? George Costanza? You gotta have 2 keys to break up. It's like, no, we don't need 2 keys. This guy can divorce you if he wants.
We are officially broken up.
No, George, we're not. I refuse to give up on this relationship. It's like launching missiles from a submarine. Both of us have to turn our keys.
Well, then I am gonna have to ask you to turn your key.
I'm sorry, George, I can't do that.
But she said, we'll get past this. She's asked me to go to marriage counseling, which I refused. Yeah, forget marriage counseling. This woman is not worth it. I had her served and gave her a notice to vacate my house. It's my premarital asset. Nice. She's moved in with her mom, and I find her constantly coming by to see if I need anything or making suggestions like, what if we had an open relationship only on your side or 3 people situations? She's really trying everything, although I might take her up on that one. Which seems kind of desperate and pathetic. Rebuffing her constantly and telling her she has to call and ask permission before coming by finally seems to be getting through to her, and there will be no us going forward. She said that she'll drag out the divorce for as long as possible, but so far has been compliant. The worst part of all of this is telling my daughter that we're getting a divorce and why. Don't tell the daughter why. Followed closely by her begging me to give her mom another chance. I'm not sure I would have been afforded the same consideration if I was the one doing the cheating. Yeah, and thanks to society and movies like Barbie, I'm not so sure you would either. In fact, I'm quite certain you wouldn't. But anyway, I've said pretty much all I can say about this story. Let me know your opinions down in the comments. Click like for the algorithm, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into the next story. So he's 31 and she's 28. He says, my wife and I were at the store the other day and I was only going to get 4 or 5 things while there. At some point my wife tells me that she had to go use the restroom and I couldn't find what I was looking for while she was in there, so I decided to go wait outside of the bathroom for her to come out. On my way there, I saw her coming out of the men's bathroom. I covered my mouth in shock and asked her, why were you in the men's bathroom? She told me she went in to lock all the stalls. I said, why would you do that for? And right before she answered, this guy who also saw her when he was in there taking his son to go to the bathroom, he came out and asked her if she did anything to the stalls because they were all locked, and she said no. Then he went to get a manager to come out and look, and my wife rushed out of the store and into the car. I asked her why she did that, and she said she did it when she was younger and just wanted to do it again. What the? He says, mind you that I'm 31 and she's 28. This is like something that a 10-year-old would do. Yeah, it sure is. And to all the women out there always constantly talking about man children, this is the epitome of an adult child, and it ain't a man. So it's not like it's just men who do these ridiculous things at an older age. But as far as this story goes, could you imagine being that other dad, seeing this adult woman running out after having done this ridiculous prank and being like, what is going on? This guy's married to a nut. This reminds me of that story I did a while back of the woman who was shoplifting and her husband found out that she was like going to the store and doing this. And just like I said in that story, sometimes bored wives are just looking for a thrill, and at least she chose this way to let it out instead of cheating on the guy. But that's all I can say about this. Let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. Click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with someone you think might like it, and check out my main channel for more life and relationship topics. Till then, hope you all take care of yourselves, support and be good to good women. Peace.